Good morning, students. Hope I am audible and my screen is visible. The slides.
Good
Yes,
morning,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Okay. Very good morning. So, in yesterday's class, sir was discussing delay, loss, and throughput in networks. Did all of you understand these concepts? If any doubts, you can just ask me. And there is one more term related to this, though it is not very famous term. There is one more term called good put. Have any one of you heard about good put? Nobody knows?
Is
Okay.
it the meaningful information transferred, sir?
Yeah, the actual data, how much it is transferred in a unit amount of time. Okay. Throughput, it calculates the total data transferred in a unit time. Am I right? Throughput is the total amount of bits transferred in a unit time. It may be 1 second or it may be 1 minute. Usually we say per second only. So second is our unit time over there. That is what throughput means. So throughput basically contains all the header information, all acknowledgements, all confirmations, connection establishments, all these are part of throughput communication. Okay. So if you are transferring a movie or a song, how much song bits or how many song bits have come in 1 second? That is what we consider as good put. Whereas in throughput, it will consider all the other header information. If there any acknowledgement has come, all this will be counted for throughput. For good put, only the actual data will be considered. Please make a note of that. It's not there in textbook. Now, next is protocol layers and service models. So in computer network, in computer communication, we normally talk about two types of layers. One is the standard one, standard in the sense the one which is developed for research and development, and the other one is TCP/IP layers. TCP/IP stands TCP/IP. All of you know what it is: Transmission Control Protocol and IP protocol. TCP/IP is basically a TCP/IP. When I say it's a group of protocol together, I call it as TCP/IP. As TCP and IP are two major protocols in this group. Okay, there are hundreds of protocol in TCP/IP protocol suite, like HTTP, DNS, FTP, SMTP. All these protocols belongs to TCP/IP protocol suite. So it is called as a protocol suite. So your entire internet is built upon protocol suite, TCP/IP protocol suite. The other one, standard one, we call as ISO-OSI model. So these are the two things we will see today. Okay. So let us start with our discussion for the day. So protocol layers is what we are going to discuss today, as I told you already. So networks are complex with many pieces. Already we have seen. What are these pieces? Can any one of you brief about this quickly? What all you have studied in this? I'll just mute myself. Those who would like to speak, you may please unmute and speak.
End devices, wires, and
Router. I think it is Meghna. See, the topics are given here. You can just frame your explanation based on these topics. Say, for example, the first one is host. So in host, we have seen it's basically the entry devices, and We have servers, clients, mobile phones, cameras, printers, all these are hosts. Can you continue from routers? I'm not hearing your voice. Can you please talk a bit louder? Okay, now I'm not hearing anybody explaining. So the next point is routers. Next point is routers. Routers basically connects different networks. Various networks, they are interconnected by using routers. In the last lab, we have seen as well. So the basic purpose of routers is to interconnect different networks and to route the packet to the through the right interface in order to reach to the destination. And third is links of various media. So we have seen already various types of media in our previous theory classes. You have fiber to home, you have serial connections, you have telephone lines which are connecting, you have coaxial cables. All these are links of various media. You may have satellite links, you may have wireless Wi-Fi, WiMAX. All this comes under this. And you have various applications. Applications in the sense you have Facebook is an application, WhatsApp is another application, Telegram or plenty of such applications we have come across which are working based on network, and many web applications as well. And then you have protocols like SMTP, FTP, TFTP, etc. And you have many other hardware and softwares which are part of networks. Okay, like your NIC cards, network interface card, and the cable going out from that. Of course, that already we have covered. And then the driver software for them, the configuring software for them, the network management softwares like Telnet. All this I can classify under networks. And when we talk them in a general term, it is like a lot of things in one box, right? If we can segregate them based on some criteria, then it would be much easier. Don't you feel so? Okay. Now, how do you organize an air travel or a railway travel, or maybe a parcel sending? So we can consider one of this, and we can understand, or we can analyze and understand that they are treated as in steps. Okay. So they have given one example here of an air travel. The first step here is you will have to purchase a ticket. Then you have to check in with your baggage. Then they will load the baggage to the flight. Then from the runway it will be started flying. Then in between there may be routing takes place for the aeroplane. Okay, it will see the route maps, or it will see the routes, and then it will start flying, or it may take deviations based on some conditions. Maybe in between, if there is a there is a bad weather, then it may take an alternate route. So based on conditions in between, there may be a better path in their mind while starting, but on the go, due to some unexpected situations, there can be changes possible. Okay. So that is what routing takes place. And once it is near to the airport in the destination, again, it will ask for the runway, which runway they have to land, etc. And then once all these are decided, they will land the flight, and then to the gates, they will unload it. And baggage on the belt, you will it. And if you have any issues, you will complain by using your ticket in the destination. See here, if you look at this, what is happening at the source, the reverse process, unwinding is happening at the destination side. That is our key point or key takeaway from this. Is that clear? Or do you need some more explanation on this? So you are basically traveling from one place to another place. That is the entire application. But in between, in that process, there are a lot of activities taking place in different steps. Okay. Please try to understand this. What is the key point at each layer? That is also mentioned here. Ticket, baggage, gate, takeoff, landing, airplane, routing. So these are the key activities taking place in each layer or in each step. So the baggage handling, it has got its own protocol, right? The baggage, how to number it, how to place it, where to place it, how to take it in the van, etc. So the baggage handling people, the security people who are handling this baggage, they are not they sorry. The baggage handling people, they need not have to essentially know how the runway handling is done or how the routing is done. They just need to know only how baggage is carried or how baggage is handled. Okay, so their scope is just limited only. That is the key here. Please read this. Can you link these statements with the previous example what we have seen? Is it worth of doing things in small layers?
Yes. One operation actually doesn't affect the operation of other.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. That's a right statement. Anybody else? Okay, let's continue. So the TCP IP layers is what you are seeing here. TCP IP layers is what you are seeing here on the screen. Okay, so it starts from application on the top layer. We call it. We can you can basically either way you can do. You can start from physical layer and come to application layer, or you can tell from application layer and go down to physical layer. Okay, physical layer is basically known as layer 1. Link layer or data link layer is known as layer 2. Network layer is layer 3. Transport layer is layer 4. And application layer is layer 5. Okay. In some textbooks, both physical layer and link layer are combined together, and it is known as network access layer. You may please note it down. Link layer and physical layer, it is combined and known as network access layer. Okay, and the network layer would have been mentioned as internet layer. Network layer would have been mentioned as internet layer. In some textbooks, you may find this kind of small differences. Okay, so that is one of the internationally accepted layering model. Okay, so the bottommost one layer, that is network access layer, then internet layer, then transport layer, then application layer. So totally 4 layers will come. That is one of the structured standard way. However, in your textbook, it is mentioned like this. For exam, you can write any one of that. We will give mark. Okay, you must know what is accepted globally, because interviewers would be expecting you to tell that. Okay, you must know both. Then, because we are not sure which textbook or which model your interviewer would be expecting. Okay, so anyway, that is one thing. So application is in our material, we will be discussing from top to bottom. Okay, top one is what we are actually seeing, we are actually witnessing. The application what we are using lies in application layer. So we discuss from application layer, and the physical layer at bottommost is nothing but your cables, hardwares, etc. comes under physical layer. Okay, so we'll discuss thoroughly all these layers basically. In fact, our entire subject is based on these layers basically. Okay, so let us see one by one. The application layer, which supports network applications like FTP, SMTP, HTTP, etc. Okay, so all networking applications comes under application layer. Then you have got transport layer. Transport layer will take care of sending your data into the destination. Okay, I mean, let me take one example. So say you are sending an email, email, and you are attaching a photograph to the email, or you are attaching your biodata to the email. You are applying for a job. Okay, so what could be the protocol you will be using for sending the mail? No doubt, right? You will be using SMTP protocol. That is the one you will be using for sending mails. Okay. So SMTP, it has got large data inbuilt in that, because your resume contains a lot of certificates, photographs, etc. So it may have some 10 MB of data. So what happens when it comes to transport layer? Your network cannot handle this 10 MB continuously, because you are using packet switched network. You are not using circuit networks. You are using network packeting, right? So your 10 MB data will be divided into small pieces. Hello.
So there's a disturbance in your voice.
Hello. Oh, okay. I think it must be clear. In between, I am getting pop-up message saying poor network connectivity. I hope it is fine now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whenever I'm getting that message, I'll give a pause. Okay. So your biodata will be divided into small pieces. Okay. Ideally, one piece of data will contain around 1500 bytes. So 10 MB file will be divided into 1024. Okay. Uh, that much data it will be 1024 into 1024 into 10. That many pieces. Then each piece will be covered in TCP data. There is a protocol used in transport layer, and it will take care of numbering. Again, my network is showing bad quality. Okay. I think my network is not working properly, some problem. Anyway, let me continue. So I hope these two layers are pretty clear now. So in transport layer, when you are dividing this bigger data into smaller pieces, it has to be numbered. It will take care of whether delivery is happened, etc. All those things will take care. Okay, we'll see in detail about this later. Now it comes to network layer. In network, each piece will come to network layer. Okay, when it comes to network layer, it will add the IP address, source IP address, destination IP address, etc. And it will go through all the routers where routing protocols will be active. The routing protocols will take care of understanding the best path available at any point of time. So based on that best path available, it will take care of routing the data. Okay, so that is the purpose of these two things. So IP is basically a routed protocol, and routing protocols will understand the best path to a destination. So this is the entire business of a router. Okay, a computer or a host doesn't do anything with routing protocols. Okay. Now next is link. Link is nothing but your Wi-Fi, your Ethernet, all those things will come under link layer. And the physical layers, it's purely talking on bits. Bits. It may be on wire or it may be on air if it is wireless. So these are the points. Okay. Next is ISO OSI reference model. This is the standard one which is developed by ISO, International Organization for Standards, ISO. Please note down International Organization for Standards, ISO standard. Okay. So this ISO is a standardization organization who will design and publish standards for computer and electronics related things. Okay, some of them like IEEE. This also is a standardization organization. You would have heard about ITA, ISO, IEEE, or ISI. All these fellows does this standardizations, ISO. Okay, then OSI stands for Open System Interconnect. So OSI is a reference model developed for OSI is a model developed by ISO, International Organization for Standards. OSI stands for Open System Interconnect, OSI. Okay. Okay, sorry, I got some interruption in between. So the layers, there are 7 layers in this. All of you must by heart and memorize this order. Okay. Application, presentation, session, transport, network, link, and physical. Okay. The link layer usually it's mentioned like data link layer. Okay. Link. So application, presentation, session, transport, network, link, physical. Okay, so the first one is application. Already we have seen in the.
Sir, your screen was unshared, sir.
Oh, sorry. Is it coming now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So application already we have seen. That is where a user is getting interacted with the network. So your programs and application layer protocols, all this belongs to application. Then next is presentation. That's a new one which is present in ISO OSI. Presentation takes care about encryption, compression, and machine specific conversions, etc. That means you may have JPEG format, or you may have SQL data, or you may have text data, or you may have HTML data. So all these formats will be taken care in presentation layer basically. Okay. And down to that you have session layer. In session layer, it will take care about all the timing information like synchronization, checkpointing, recovery of data exchange, etc. So like if you're browsing to a bank website, you may get a message saying that your session has timed out. So that timing is taken care in session layer basically. Okay. And in TCP/IP layers, what we have seen the previous slide, the 4 layers, all these 3 layers functionality, that is application, presentation, and session, they are together performed by the application layer in TCP/IP layer. Okay, so it is combined. Is that point clear? Then that is about application layer in TCP/IP and application, presentation, session layers in ISO OSI model. Transport layer is same as like transport layer is same as like your transport layer in TCP/IP. It will take care of the segmenting, reassembling, etc. It will be made into pieces at one side, and at the receiving side it will be reassembled. So that is done in transport layer. Network layer, same thing. Your IP protocol and your addressing as well as routing will be taken care in network layer. Data link layer is your local communication. That is your whether it is Wi-Fi or data, Ethernet, etc. So those things will be taken care in data link layer. And your physical layer, of course, it is your bits in communication. So the main difference comes in top 3 layers. It is combined in TCP/IP model. Okay. So
Excuse me.
yeah.
So can you explain that session layer? So like what exactly is timing information mean? Like is it the time for which we are active in the network, or like, what exactly does that mean, sir?
Okay. So that is one direct example what I said. So the programming can be done in various ways. I can program in such a way that if somebody requests for a website, that person will get the website only for so much time. Okay, so that way I can do, or I can do how long the person is active in the website. That way also I can do. So on top of that, there are various other things in the sense, say for example, I'm sending a message to my friend who is in US, and his phone setting is based on US timing. So when the message is delivered to him, it will be shown in US timing to him, but to me it will be shown in Indian time, IST time. Okay, so that is what basically synchronization means. Very simple example for synchronization. When data is being sent, synchronization has got various other aspects also, because when a source is sending a data, it has to it will be expecting an acknowledgement. So if the acknowledgement is not reaching within a time, then the data will be resent. So the session has got a lot of importance over there. The timing has got a lot of importance over there.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Let us come to this. The next one. So you have a source and you have a destination here. The source contains all the 4 or 5 layers of TCP/IP. As I told you, OSI layers we may not mention here because that is a reference model, which will be for research activities or study purpose. Okay, and TCP/IP is the one which is actually existing. Okay, so that is why only this many layers are mentioned here. The source computer has got all the 7 layers. The destination computer also has got all the 7 layers. Whatever message you are sending in the source will travel through all the layers, and finally it will be in the form of bits in the medium, the red line what you are seeing here. And when it comes to a switch, it will be using the MAC address, and it will be seeing the physical bit format, etc. Okay, your switch is basically working on 2 layers, bottom 2 layers, that is link and physical layers. Okay. In the first lab, did I show you that switch will send data to only to the desired destination? It is not going to everywhere, right? That's the difference we have seen between switch and a hub, right?
Yes, sir.
So switch will be able to see a layer 2 information as well in order to decide to where it has to send across. Okay, we said that as MAC address table and all we have seen. Did we see? No.
No, sir, we didn't see the MAC address table.
Okay, no problem. So that is basically layer 2 information. The addressing, the local area addressing is based on MAC address. We will see what is MAC address later in our course. Then when it goes to a switch, it will see, in addition to MAC address, it will see the IP address also. IP address comes in network layer. So all the 3 layers information a router will be able to see. Now, when it comes to the computer, that is when it passes through all the 7 layers. And finally, it will be displayed in the application what you are using. Maybe you are browsing. So you will be seeing the web page on a browser in the destination computer. Okay. So the data, what it will happen. Now let us understand one more thing. Initially, you have the message which is there in your application layer, your actual message, maybe your email or whatever it is. And that email, when it comes to transport layer, it will be divided into pieces, many pieces. OK. And each piece will be known as a segment. Each piece will be known as a segment. Please note it down. In application layer, it is just message. And when it comes to transport layer, the data will be divided into many pieces if it is required. And each piece will be added with header informations. Header information will be added. OK. Once it is added, those header information, it is known as segment. Each piece will be a segment. Essentially, what I said is the message, if it is required, it will be divided into many pieces, and each piece will be added with headers. If it is divided into pieces or not divided into pieces, it will add the header information. Okay. Now it is known as segment. Is that point clear? And now it will come to the network layer. In network layer, the data what network layer is getting is segment. Okay. To the segment, it will add another header which is relevant for network layer. And now it is known as datagram. Now that is known as datagram. Okay. Now that is known as datagram. Okay. So in international many books you can see this as packet. Okay. You may please note it down as packet. The datagram is a word what they are using in your textbook. As per me, that is not correct. It should be packet. Okay. That is what people expect when you are facing interviews for networking companies. Okay. But for exam, if you write datagram, I'm fine with it. But though we are expecting you to write packet. Okay. Instead of datagram, it should be packet. Okay. In the textbook, what they have done is for all of them, they are referring as packet in common. Okay. But actually packet is relevant only for network layer. Then it comes to data link layer where some more header and there is actually a trailer also will be added to it. Then it is known as frame. And finally, it comes to the physical layer where it will be treated as bits. Then it will be traveling through the switch to the router and the link layer header will be removed and it will be going to the network layer. It will be getting routed. Okay. Then it comes to the link layer on the other side. It will be adding that data link layer header again. Header of data link layer will be added. Then it will be going to the destination computer. Now here one more additional point is in each layer I was telling different names, right? Like data, then I said segment, then I said packet, then I said frame, then I said bits in the physical layer. They are known as protocol datagram units, PDUs in short, protocol datagram units. Okay. So if somebody asks you what is a protocol datagram unit in transport layer, you have to say segment. What is a protocol datagram unit in network layer? You have to say packet. Okay. Though in the textbook it is mentioned as datagram, it is actually packet. What is a protocol datagram unit in physical layer? It is
bits.
Yeah. Now, the last topic 1.7, I am leaving it as self-study to you. We will not be discussing that. So the last topic in this, what we are going to discuss is security. I'll just finish off that as well. Okay. So all of us are very much concerned about security now. Okay. So security is a requirement for all of us. Okay, our data has to be secured. There are many ways to secure our data, though there are many ways to steal the data as well. Okay, so what are different types of security issues? Okay, so they are known as malwares basically. Malware means which will try to steal your data, or it's a program which will work unauthentically and steals the data and supplies to somebody else. In just layman terms, if I tell, that is what malware. And there are different types of malwares. So it can be a virus. One example of a malware is virus. So you must remember these definitions. Okay, virus is a self-replicating infection by receiving and executing an object. Okay, as an example, it may be an email attachment. Okay. Self-replicating infection by receiving and executing an object. You may have sometimes back there was a virus named Aishwarya.jpg dot something it would come. So people think that it is Aishwarya Rai's photograph. They clicks on that. So it used to be a virus actually. So it was kind of virus once in early 2000s and all. That was one type of virus actually. Then there is another category called worm. It's a self-replicating infection by passively receiving object that gets itself executed. That is the difference between virus and worm. Virus, you have to click and execute it, whereas worm, it will simply execute. So when you insert pen drives into different computers and all, these worms used to get passed. So there is another category called spyware malware, so which will record the keystrokes, websites visited, etc. So this, if such a software is installed in your computer, the spyware will record your keystrokes. Say, for example, what password you have typed or what username you have typed. All these details can be recorded by the spyware. Then another thing is denial of service. Denial of service means you may have a website hosted, but the website will be loaded by the fake clients or fake users. So all the websites, they have a limit to serve the customers. Say for example, if I host a website in a free server, only 15 or 20 users can view the website at a time. So if a malware or if a virus software can run 20 clients in a computer, you may have virtual machines and all now in your machine, right? You can have 20 different computers and you yourself can run the connection from 20 virtual machines. So the actual users from 21, they will not get the website. That is what we call as denial of service. This denial of service is there for any clients. And now the denial of service, if it is done from many clients, many different machines, like instead of running 20 virtual machines from my computer, I don't have that much facility in my computer, right? I cannot run 20 virtual machines. So what I'll do is I will attack your 10 machines, and from those 10 machines, I'll create two computers. So my work will be done. That is what called distributed denial of service. And when I'm making a network under my control, that is called botnet. Are you clear with these 2 points? When I make 10 computers under my control, that is called botnet. And now I'll be initiating communication to the server from your 10 computers. Now that is called distributed denial of service. So with this, I will end today's class. I have already explained denial of service as well. Okay. Okay. Then another point is called sniffing. Sniffing is I may have software which will read the data which is coming through the network. That is called packet sniffing, and I can understand what is passing through the network if it is not encrypted. If you are using HTTPS, this sniffing will not work much. And we'll be having a lab session on this packet sniffing by using Wireshark software. You can install Wireshark software in your computer for next lab. Okay, Wireshark software. I have uploaded lab manual in your files section. In that second lab is about Wireshark. You can follow that and install the Wireshark software. Okay, so let us end with this. IP spoofing is like you will be hiding your actual IP address and you will be mentioning a wrong IP address, I mean a spy IP address and using it. Say you might have heard about proxying, right? That is a trick by using IP spoofing. You can install many proxy softwares, like you you'll be browsing from India, but actually your IP address will be shown as a UK IP address or maybe a some other country like Singapore IP address. So usually people who will do like terrorist activities and all, they do such tricks because their computer will not be able to trace out if they do like that. Okay. So let us stop with this today and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you all. Thank you all. Have a great day ahead. Bye.